This is going to be discussing about talking about presenting a case. Child's name is Miss Alaina, 3-year-old female child from Tumkur. Informant is mother and reliable. Her chief complaints was swelling arising from the bottom region since birth and pain over the swelling since 15 days. Parents noticed that when the child was born itself, the child had a small swelling in the bottom region, which was initially of the size of about 2 into 2 centimeters, which gradually doubled the size in 4 years. And 15 days back, child had a small trauma and fell over the swelling at home, following which the swelling suddenly increased to the present size of about 8 into 6 centimeters. The child was initially at the newborn period shown at a local hospital, and doctor had told that it is a swelling probably arising from blood vessels, which requires observation, and if it grows in size, may require excision. So afterwards, they did not follow up. Uh, there is history of pain and discoloration over the swelling after after fall. No history of fever. There is no history of constipation, diarrhea, or bleeding per rectum. There is no history of abdominal distension. There's no history of difficulty in passing urine or leaking of urine. There's no history of movement difficulty or lower limb pain. There's no history of breathlessness. Antenatal history is not significant. Uh, Birth history, it was a normal vaginal delivery term, and family history is nothing significant. And this child is a third child. The other two siblings are male siblings, both are normal. Immunization history, she is immunized as per schedule. To summarize, after the history, she is a 4-year-old child who presented with a gradually progressing swelling arising in the bottom region, noticed since birth, uh, and history of sudden increase in size after a trivial trauma, which is associated with pain and redness of the skin. There is no other significant history. At this stage, the differential diagnosis could be sacrococcygeal teratoma, lymphangioma, venous malformation, or a neurogenic tumor, probably a neuroblastoma or ganglioneuroma. Shall I go for the examination, sir?
Vinay.
Yes, sir.
No, there is some.
Yeah, Ram sir, go ahead, sir. Then I will talk to you later. Ram sir.
Yeah. No, the thing is, when you say bottom region, no, you usually the connotation is that it is the perineum.
Yes, sir.
Perineum has got two parts, anterior part and the posterior part.
Ah, sir.
There are certain landmarks in the perineum, urinary opening.
Ah, sir.
Some people may be knowing about the vaginal opening. Some people, all the people will be knowing about the anal opening.
Ah, sir.
So when you talk about the bottom region, it usually connotes to a perineal problem.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Um, from what I know about this patient, because I know a little bit about this patient,
Ah, sir.
that is not the correct description.
Yes, sir.
So you have to translate it properly in such a way that you are conveying the history to the examiner, and people like me who have not seen this patient at all.
Ah, sir.
So examiner usually would have seen and felt and all that.
Ah, sir.
So generally they will have problem with your history, the description of the
Yes, sir.
parent saying that it is in the bottom region. Usually when they say bottom region, laymen, lay people, they refer to the perineum. That's what my thinking is.
Yes, sir.
I agree, sir. In fact, the more accurate description will be a child had a swelling in the lower back.
Lower back. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
More accurate.
Yes,
Because I've
sir.
seen the child being operated, the child has got a swelling in the lower back. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So please understand, always I tell, when you say history, it means it's a his story. And when you're presenting, you build up the place the way you want it to be. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Don't tell everything verbatim, whatever they say. Okay.
Yes,
For
yes, sir.
example, if you say there's a swelling in the lower back, it gives a lot of importance to me about, for example, you're talking about SCT, neurogenic tumor, etc., etc. I can think about. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In a differential diagnosis, you said SCT, go back to your lymphangioma, venous malformation, neurogenic tumor. Would you like to think of any, because anything, this is a midline swelling in the lower back.
Yes.
Would you like to think anything of a meningomyelocele, spina bifida, something?
Yes, sir. Since one thing is, since I've examined the child also, I don't think it is.
You are now at a history level.
Yes, sir. That's a possibility, sir. One differential diagnosis.
Anything, please get this point very clear. Anything in the middle, around the spine area, one of the differential diagnoses has to be a type of spina bifida occulta. It can be meningocele, meningomyelocele. You have to consider that.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. I think that is the commonest.
Yes, sir.
It will be a negative point against you at the history level when you commit yourself to a differential diagnosis, not including myelomeningocele. I
Yes, sir.
think a big negative point will be against you if you don't do it. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
Whatever you say, spina bifida should come in the differential diagnosis, as
Yes,
Dr. Ramesh has pointed out.
Yes,
In the low back, that is the commonest all over the world. There is
Yes,
no
sir.
racial difference. Whether the patient is in India, the patient is in UK, patient is in Europe, anywhere.
Yes, sir.
The commonest differential diagnosis of a mass in the low back is, and you are giving the history of it being present since birth.
Since birth, yes.
Yeah. So that has to be the number one diagnosis.
Yes.
In fact, when you are saying, I considered it in history, but I ruled it out on my examination is acceptable. All right.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
At this stage,
And how reliable is the patient's parents also, is brought into this thing. But that may be a point for discussion later.
Yes, sir.
Vinay, at this level, purely on a history level,
Yes, sir.
can you discuss the differential diagnosis and the possibilities, pros and cons at each level?
In the sense, sorry, sir, I didn't get the question.
History level itself, we have not examined the child. So me
Yes,
and
sir.
Ramchandra have not seen the child.
Yes, sir.
Can you please discuss at this level about
Yes.
the differential diagnosis that you have so far thought of, plus minus of each one of them?
Yes. Like in this case, the swelling is present since birth, sir. So one is, sir?
How old is the child?
4 years, sir.
4 years. Now, a child, 4-year-old child presenting the swelling in the lower back, present since birth, gradually growing with a sudden rapid history of increase in the last 15 days.
Yes.
So, this is each one of the possibilities that you have talked about so far.
Yes, sir. So one is sacrococcygeal teratoma, which was initially small, like a cystic lesion. After the child had and growing in size, and after the child fell down, probably the child had a hemorrhage into the cyst, and then that's why it suddenly increased in size, sir.
But you said the child had some sort of injury, external injury also, no?
Yes, sir. History of trauma, 15 days back.
And what happened? Was there any skin abrasion or?
Yes, sir. Reddish discoloration of the skin was there, and child also had pain over the swelling, sir.
Okay. So there could be history of trauma with a hematoma in any of these swellings. Agreed. Anything else? That can go in favor of any of these.
Yes, sir.
What I'm looking for is when you say something present since birth.
Yes, sir.
So what are the possibilities more likely to be?
One is meningomyelocele, sir, and lymphovenous malformation, and a sacrococcygeal teratoma.
I would suggest that you talk about, sir, if something is present since birth, I will think of a congenital
Congenital,
mass.
yes, sir.
Okay, so you say at least in 40 years. So of the congenital lesions, what are the lesions you are likely to think of?
Meningomyelocele and lymphovenous malformation, sir, and sacrococcygeal teratoma.
Could be possible, yes. Lymphangioma is possible, venous malformation is possible, okay.
Yes, sir.
Can the neurogenic tumor be embryonal tumor? Which are the embryonal tumors that you know of? Which are the tumors which can be present in the fetus also? Or a newborn child who can present with the tumor?
Like a midline back tumor. Sir.
Don't look at here only. I'm just asking the question generally.
Ovarian tumors.
Which can present as a tumor at birth, anywhere in the body.
Ovarian tumors.
Okay. Most common. Most common tumor which is present at birth or in the first infancy. Hello.
Most common, I'm not able to say.
We discussed earlier, no? In fact, to that extent, there are some screening programs in the world. They have given up now. Neuroblastoma.
Yes.
Okay. So neuroblastoma can be present at birth.
Yes.
See, which are the embryo? Sacrococcygeal teratoma. Any teratoma can present. Forget about sacrococcygeal. Any teratoma.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Then hepatoblastoma can be there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the general congenital germs. So this could be sacrococcygeal teratoma since it's present since birth. It can be any sort of congenital malformation like lymphangioma or neurovenous malformation. It can be neurogenic tumor since it is present since birth. Okay.
Yes,
Anyway. But do you think it can be a malignant variety of any of these tumors?
What is that?
Can it be a malignant tumor?
No.
Unlikely, sir, because it is a slowly progressing tumor, but may have turned malignant recently. Sir.
We don't know because, as I rightly said, tumor is there for the last 4 years since birth without much the size.
Yes, sir.
So, if at all, it's either a benign tumor or a slow-growing tumor, whatever tumor it is. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Of the tumor, of the differential diagnosis that you said so far.
Yes.
Okay. SCT, lymphangioma, venous malformation. I mean, SCT and this. What sort of tumor can it be?
Embryonal tumor, sir.
Can it be a SCT? Can it be neurogenic tumor?
Yes, sir.
Possibility of neurogenic tumor can be confirmed, ruled out.
No.
Blanked out. You don't need to blank out. Discuss.
Sir, it is one of the differential diagnosis. It needs
Okay.
to be ruled out after examination and investigation, sir.
At history level itself, I'm asking, is this possibly, could this be say SCT?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Basically, the benign tumor can become malignant. Okay. Can it
Yes,
be
sir.
neurogenic?
Yes, sir, it can be.
What sort of neurogenic tumor?
Like a ganglioneuroma can be a
Benign types. Okay. Benign types. Okay. Benign, the spectrum of it.
Yes.
Then, can it be meningomyelocele or spina bifida that me and Ramchandra sir were talking about?
Yes, sir, it can be.
It can be, but the child has got no neurodeficits whatsoever and a history of trauma. So, but still it could be possible. But
Yes, sir.
having said that, what sort of lesions are likely to be at this age here? Lower back. If it is meningomyelocele or meningocele,
Sir.
would you think realistically that it could be there? Yes, sir.
Can be a meningocele if at all, sir, because the child is able to walk and urine and there's no constipation or incontinence. So
Basically, got no neurodeficit, so it's unlikely.
yes,
My
sir.
question, based on the location of the meningomyelocele,
Yes.
okay, can you predict the amount of neurologic involvement? Okay, so in other words, I'm giving you a child who has got a cervical meningomyelocele. Okay,
Yes.
in case this, see, please understand, clinically there's nothing as meningocele. Clinically,
Yes.
every child has got meningomyelocele unless proved otherwise. Okay,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
so don't tell about pure meningoceles. Clinically cannot be told.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
so it can be cervical, thoracic, lumbar, lumbosacral, pure sacral. Okay,
Yes.
which one is likely to have more neurodeficits?
Vinay, can you unlock the meeting, please?
Yeah, please unlock the meeting. Vinay,
Yes, sir.
which of these will have more neurodeficits? Which one of them will have less neurodeficits?
The lumbosacral one will have more neurological deficits.
Very true. And cervical will have the least.
Least, yes.
That is right. Why? Why?
Because during the development, the posterior neuropore is formed. The improper closure of the posterior neuropore is what.
But how can you explain that the neurodeficits are less higher the lesion, more the lower the lesion? Anybody?
So, it's because of the tethering associated with the meningomyelocele.
Not very clear. Can you elaborate?
Sir, there's always tethering which is associated with sacral and lumbosacral meningomyelines, unlike in cervical meningomyelines.
No. Anything else? Okay. See, there is a spinal segment of the vertebral column and there is a spinal segment of the spinal cord. Okay.
Yes.
Do they correlate at what level? You understand what I'm saying? My question. There is a spinal segment. So, for example, C1 of the vertebral column and C1 of the spinal cord.
Yes. Sir.
Understand? And there is S5 of the spinal cord and S5 of the vertebral column. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes.
How much correlation?
Spine ends higher in at the lumbar region.
Basically, what happens is the corresponding spinal and the vertebral segments are closer at a higher level.
Yes.
So the intraspinal length of each of the nerve roots are not much higher up.
Yes. Sir.
Whereas the lower you come down, because the what you call the discrepancy is more, there's
Yes,
going to be lower root. That means L4, L5 nerve roots inside the spinal canal, inside the vertebral column is longer. So there's a higher chance of that coming out. That's the reason for which lower the lesion, higher the possibility of a defect. Whereas
Yes.
higher the lesion, because the intraspinal course of the nerve is much shorter. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there will be less lesion. So if you look back, the cervical lesions will have the least amount of neurodeficits. Whereas lumbar will almost always have. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. On general physical examination, the child is conscious, cooperative, and her child's pulse is 100, BP is 90/60, and normal for the age. Height is 100, between 30 to 3 to 50th centile, and weight is 15 kgs, 3 to 50th centile. Child is afebrile. Head to toe examination is normal. There is no pallor, icterus, generalized lymphadenopathy. On local examination, there is a solitary swelling of about 12 into 10 centimeters at the sacrococcygeal region with well-defined borders, and the swelling is extending from S1 level superiorly to till the posterior wall of the anal opening, and laterally it is 5 centimeters on either side of the midline. There is local rise of temperature over the swelling and tenderness on deep palpation. Consistency of the swelling is variegated, and it is cystic at the superior aspect and harder at the inferior and lateral aspect.
Most evident fact you have not told at all, Vinay, which is evident on the photograph.
The skin is necrotic.
That you have to tell, no?
Yes, I thought.
At the summit of the swelling,
Yes.
there is no normal skin at all. I
Yes,
don't know
sir.
for how many centimeters. For a good distance, there is no normal skin at all.
Yes, sir.
It is completely covered with probably necrotic skin and a scab.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Call it more a scab, covered by a scab, they call it necrotic skin.
Yes,
Because it's dry.
yes, sir. I thought was.
There is an obvious, I mean, that's on inspection, no? You have to tell that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I actually put all together once, and like inspection, palpation, all put together. Better tell it separately, sir. Like inspection, separate palpation.
No.
No, when
What's
you are
like,
describing the dimension and the appearance of the swelling,
Yes.
you must tell that this is what it is, no?
Yes, sir.
Obvious, you must tell.
Yes. And the skin over the swelling is normal on the lateral aspect, but necrotic in the central region, to an extent of about 5 into 4 centimeters. The consistency of the swelling is variegated, cystic at the superior aspect and hard at the inferior and lateral aspect.
okay.
Movement of the swelling is restricted. There are no engorged veins over the skin of the swelling, and swelling is non-pulsatile. There are no thrills felt or bruit heard.
Okay, when you're talking about the skin, Vinay,
Yes,
is the skin at all level? Is the skin tethered to it or is it sort of separate?
skin is not pinchable, sir. Skin is not
Is it-
pinchable. Only at the
is it-
lateral aspect, it is we are able to. It is separate from the swelling, but From the necrotic aspect to an extent of about 2 centimeters, it is not separate, sir.
I understand that is sort of densely stuck to the underlying surface.
Yes.
Rest of the areas, is it stuck to it or is it sort of tensely stretched over the swelling? What is the plane of the?
It is deep to the skin, sir. In the lateral aspect, we are able to feel the separate part of. I mean, skin is separate from the swelling. Only in the lateral aspect.
Okay, go ahead.
Anal opening is normally located, and then two separate openings of vagina and urethra are seen. Spine is normal. Abdomen is soft and no mass or ascites is there. And PR anal tone is normal. Fullness is felt on the posterior wall of the rectum. Bilateral lower limb muscle tone is normal, and power is normal. Reflexes are normal. Other systemic examination is normal, sir.
Okay.
Give a provision, sir. It's a brief summary. A 4-year old child with a female child with a history of solitary swelling of about 12 into 10 centimeters at the sacrococcygeal region since birth, which is gradually progressing in size and sudden increase after trauma since 15 days, with well-defined borders and necrotic skin and variegated consistency. So, differential diagnosis could be sacrococcygeal teratoma, uh, meningomyelocele and ganglioneuroma, or a dermoid cyst and lymphovascular malformations.
Are you able to hold the swelling and lift it and get underneath the swelling? Have
No,
you
sir.
tried that maneuver?
Yes, sir, but not able to do it, sir. And even
When you go to the edge of the swelling, are you able to squeeze your little space you can develop between the say the bony pelvis and the swelling?
no, sir. Actually, the
Underneath the bony pelvis and the swelling?
skin is slightly edematous, sir. Unable to go insinuate my
Superiorly, laterally, inferiorly, are you able to at any point insinuate the finger between the border of the swelling and the bony pelvis? Are you able to do that? Are you able to hold the swelling and sort of shake it and get underneath it? Is it possible?
No, sir. I was not able to do it.
Basically,
Yeah,
what I'm asking you is it very densely adherent
Yes,
to
sir.
the underlying
Structures. Yes.
underlying fascia and the possibility of a bone also, underlying bone?
Yes.
Is that the situation?
No, sir.
What impression do you get? The impression you get is it underlying, is it stuck to the underlying fascia and bone and probably the muscle, or is it that you can develop a plane between the underlying deep structures and the swelling as a surgeon? I'm just asking you your feeling,
Sir,
your
I
gut
feel
feeling.
it is deep to the this one, sir. It is adhered to the fascia. I might
Okay.
not feeling that I'll be getting the plane, sir.
okay.
Okay.
Now, what we are trying to ask you is, do you think
Sir.
it's a mass just between the skin and the bone, or do you think it is arising from deeper structures? Your impression. You may be right, you may be wrong, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
This
sir.
is what we think as a surgeon.
Yes, sir. I
It's
feel.
not a
The thing is, yesterday we operated, sir, but otherwise, I felt it is deeper to the. It is deep, sir. We're not able to. We might not be able to get the plane, sir.
yeah. When I
Okay.
understand why I say that you should not know about the case earlier,
Yes, sir.
okay, you will get stuck to this, whatever impression you know about it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So avoid the case or knowing about the case because it is irrelevant at this level of discussion about what the operative findings are.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Ah, so discuss the differential diagnosis of each one of them at this level.
Yes, sir.
Do you think it is can be sacrococcygeal teratoma? What are the pros and cons? Then you said meningomyelocele, ganglioneuroma. One of them discussed.
Yes, yes. Sacrococcygeal teratoma, it's a swelling noticed since birth and it is gradually increased. And also, child after the trauma, child has had sudden increase in size and there is also pain and redness of the skin and then there's necrotic skin. So, it is probably, and it is variegated consistency. So it is probably sacrococcygeal teratoma, sir. That's my
One.
first differential diagnosis.
Okay. What are the other possibilities?
One more is meningomyelocele with
One important thing. In fact, when in a clinical diagnosis, we think it's a sacrococcygeal teratoma, you have not done a PR.
PR done, sir. It is normal
He
only.
did PR. He described the PR.
Okay.
But in that, you did not clearly describe whether the sacrum is free anteriorly. That's what I was looking at. You said that posterior wall of the rectum, you can feel the swelling, but you did not describe whether there is a swelling in the presacral space. That is a crucial finding in sacrococcygeal teratoma of this size.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
In clinical examination. You may get all the information in MRI, in all the scans which you have, all that information you may get. But still, clinical examination, you must tell when you have a low back swelling like this, which you're thinking is a sacrococcygeal teratoma, the PR finger should feel the sacral hollow.
We can
And
feel
tell
the
us whether
sacral
there is
hollow.
any,
Yes, sir.
whether there is any presacral swelling. Did you feel it? No. Correct, no?
We can feel the sacral this one, but
Sacral hollow is free. There is no presacral swelling, isn't it?
yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
And do you think the mass is going up to the coccyx or is stopping short of coccyx and staying higher?
It is stopping short of coccyx and staying higher, sir. The superior aspect, the superficial aspect is staying higher.
This again goes against SCT. Okay. Generally, SCT coccyx will be involved, and even if it is totally outside by Altman's staging, still you may a small part of it going in. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that is the only thing against SCT in this case. Prospective, we are not talking retrospectively. Okay.
Yes.
But still, first DD will be SCT. What are the other DDs? Discuss. Could it be ganglioneuroma?
Yes, sir. Because it is one is such as swelling since birth, and it is gradually progressing in size. So
Could
that is a possibility.
neuroblastoma outside or more likely to be inside?
More likely to be inside, sir.
Inside. Okay. It's unlikely to be outside. Ganglioneuroma, where does ganglioneuroma or neuroblastoma arise from?
From the phylum terminal, those nerves.
Basically, it's from neural structures.
Yes,
okay. So it will be either parasympathetic ganglia, sympathetic ganglia, somewhere. Okay.
Yes.
Whereas, what is that present outside? Okay.
Yes.
So unlikely that you will get a ganglioneuroma or neuro.
I think the lowest you will get ganglioneuroma is organ of Zucker-Candle, isn't it? Beyond that, you don't get a ganglioneuroma.
Yes.
That is my thinking, unless there is something new information which is coming now.
So unlikely that you will have a neuroblastoma or a ganglioneuroma outside. Okay.
Yes.
So possibility of this being a ganglioneuroma or a neuroblastoma is virtually out.
Yes.
Could this be a dermoid cyst?
Yes, sir. It can be a dermoid cyst because it's a midline swelling and of variegated consistency, and it is there since birth, more like a benign and gradually increasing in size.
Will a dermoid cyst have a variegated consistency?
So because of history of trauma and there is probably an acute bleed, so there can be a variegated consistencies.
I mean, in the physical findings, you said the mass is hard and the lower end aspects.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can a dermoid cyst present like this or feel like that?
A tensely cystic swelling will feel hard, and then we might.
I don't agree with you. Okay.
Yeah. What is the characteristic consistency of dermoid cyst? What is the term used? What's the term used to describe it?
The pultaceous feeling.
Yeah, putty-like consistency.
Yes.
As if some clay is there inside, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Bleed.
Okay.
You don't really get a bleed. Okay.
Yes.
You can either rub. So it's unlikely to be dermoid cyst from whatever you have gathered. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Putting it this way, I would want you to discuss. So
Yes,
for a dermoid cyst, it doesn't give a putty-like feeling. The consistency is variegated, and it is unlikely to have a dermoid cyst at this area. Theoretically, it is possible.
Yes.
I don't think anyone has dermoid cyst at this level.
Yes.
Okay. And that being that big is unlikely. Dermoid cyst won't be that big and not growing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could it be lymphovascular malformation?
One is what goes against it is the hard consistency, sir.
Okay.
But it can still be because of the skin, like it's a slow growing swelling since birth, so it can still be a lymphomascular malformation, sir.
What are the things for it? It's except that it's present since birth, but behavior is not very clear. Okay.
Yes.
Because you expected some degree, and you said there's a hard consistency.
Yeah, yes, sir. So that's also.
So it is unlikely to be lymphovascular malformation because lots of things are not in its favor, except that it is present since birth.
Yes,
Nothing
sir.
else. For example, there has been no redness, there has been no, parents also have not said that it is sort of compressible. You have not found even some area of compressibility.
No. Yes, sir.
A bleed inside a lymphovascular malformation, you would find it predominantly sort of compressible. At some part, you may find a clot. This
Yeah.
is unlikely. This
Yeah.
cannot be lymphovascular. I won't agree. Can it be rhabdomyosarcoma?
Probably, sir, in the sense, uh, but it's a that will be faster growing, and since it cannot be since birth.
It cannot be since birth. Okay. I have seen rhabdomyosarcoma presenting at this level. In fact,
Yes.
it can present like this. Some people have even scooped it out and finally realized that it is not. Okay.
Yes.
So, it's unlikely to be rhabdomyosarcoma because of the history.
Yes.
You said about spina bifida, variations of spina bifida.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think
Yes.
there can be any variations of spina bifida? Meningocele, meningomyelocele, lipomeningocele.
Hypomeningocele. Yes. Meningocele or lipomeningocele can be like this, sir.
Vinay, I'm disappointed at the way you're discussing. You're a very articulate man. You can be easily able to discuss. Okay. Sir, the probability of this being 1, 2, 3, the points against are this. So this is likely or not likely. That's the way I wanted to discuss. Please try again. I'm sure you will do it.
Yes.
ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಟರ್ಮ್ ಇದೆ ವಿನಯ್,
Yes.
ಪೂರ್ವಾಗ್ರಹ ಪೀಡಿತನಾಗಿ ಅಂತ. ಪೂರ್ವಾಗ್ರಹ ಪೀಡಿತನಾಗಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ? ಪೂರ್ವಾಗ್ರಹ ಪೀಡಿತನಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ವಿನಯ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು?
ಮೊದಲಿನ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪೂರ್ವಾಗ್ರಹ ಪೀಡಿತನಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ he is prejudiced
Yes.
by what he has seen before.
Yes.
ಪೂರ್ವಾಗ್ರಹ ಪೀಡಿತ.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that purva no is agraha in you. Agraha means it is causing.
In hindrance.
Agraha means it is pressurizing you. Purva is pressurizing you. Purva is not the name of a girl. Purva is something you have seen before, some knowledge you have attained before.
Yes, sir.
That is causing you to. So exact definition is prejudice. You are prejudiced by
Yes.
the fact that you have seen the operative finding, which was shared widely with the whole world yesterday.
Yes.
Except maybe CNN and NDTV and Times Now and Republic TV, everyone has seen the findings.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, this is what I told.
What about some congenital tumor? There was one congenital tumor which was excised in the head and neck region by you all, which was a great surgery and which came out very well.
Yes, sir.
Myofibroblastic.
Infantile myofibroblastic tumor or infantile fibrosarcoma, all these things, those varied that the spectrum of anomalies. That's also possible.
So, but those will be growing tumors. They'll not be. They'll not have an indolent course like in this case.
Okay, but still it will be possible, isn't it? They are congenital tumors.
Yes, sir.
Vinu,
Yes.
this is what I've been telling you for quite some time. You see, you tend to get prejudiced by what you see. That's exactly, sir. What I've told is from next time onwards, the presenter will not know the case. In fact, I told them to Meenakshi, Jagdish, and Venkatesh to identify cases for exams and keep it on Friday, and it will be given to the person from the other unit. Okay, and you pick up the case 1 hour before, if possible, come there, and you present directly the case. Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Tell us when the meeting is going to end so that we can rejoin.
Yes, sir. Not yet, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. So when you're talking about spina bifida variations, What are possibilities? What can it be? Why it cannot be? What are the points in favor? What are the points against?
So the points in favor is that it is present since birth, and it is the location of the swelling are the points in favor, and the points against it are it is a swelling which is slowly progressing in size, and there is no neurological deficits, and also the on palpation there is the consistency is variegated, sir. So it is against which is against neuro. I mean,
See, Dr. Ramesh is trying to tell you that again and again about myelomeningocele. Why is that he is telling you? Because all our seniors and professors have told us that remember, uncommon manifestations of common conditions are
yes,
more common than rare conditions.
yes, sir.
This is a statement you have to remember forever in your life.
Yes, sir.
Uncommon manifestations of common conditions are more common than rare exotic diseases.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes.
So always remember it is a commonest condition, myelomeningocele.
Yes, sir.
And you can try to fit in all your findings into this
Yes, sir.
myelomeningocele, except for the fact that what Dr. Ramesh told, this size of a swelling should have a neurodeficit.
Yes,
And
sir.
the reason why, because so much of swelling is there, so nerve will be part of the swelling because the length of the nerve, it will come into it. So
Yes,
there
sir.
will be neurodeficit. This patient has zero neurodeficit according
Yes.
to the history.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is the most clinching factor, but still it is possible.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Uncommon manifestation of common condition is still possible. Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
In summary, for the exam going PGs, I'm telling you, at this level, go with an open mind, think about it, all the possibilities. When you discuss, you say, sir, points for 1, 2, 3, 4, points against 1, 2, 3, 4, and the likelihood of this being is this.
Yes.
Will give more appearance that, okay, this person is reliable, that
Thanks,
he
sir.
knows the possibilities he can think and work out of it. Okay, like we said, okay, now summarize the whole thing and tell me in this order, because this is a very crucial thing in my opinion, about how can you analyze the history and findings so far with the possible differential diagnosis. This is crucial for all of you, for all cases. So why did you try it again?
Sir, can we add on neurofibroma as a differential? at this
Why
level?
not? That's what I'm saying. See, more differential diagnosis, I'm not at all worried. But you should be able to say what are the plus and minus. More differential diagnosis you give, I think that, okay, you know, you're trying to think more. Okay. Vinay, collect your thoughts and
Yes.
tell each one, okay, possibility, points for, points against. Like
Yes.
sir said, put the common conditions first and uncommon conditions later. Even if the probabilities are less, for example, the probability of meningomyelitis is low, still, because of the location, commerce diagnosis, you may say that as a first and you can go. I have no problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Collect your thoughts and tell about each of the differential diagnosis, points for, point against, and probability in this case. Understand?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sir, summary of this child is a 4-year-old female child presented uh, uh, with the mass since birth at the sacrococcygeal region, which is gradually progressing in size, and had a history of trivial trauma 15 days back, following which the size suddenly increased. And on examination, it is at 12 into 10 centimeters swelling at the sacrococcygeal region of with the ulcerated skin at the center, and local rise of temperature and well-defined borders with no neurological deficits. And with the provisional diagnosis could be sacrococcygeal teratoma, meningomyelocele, ganglioneuroma, or a neurofibroma, and a lymphovascular malformation.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Each
Yes,
one
sir.
of
I
them.
would further
Each of
like to yes, sir. Further like to work up the child with the
no. Differential diagnosis in each of these conditions.
points in favor and
Okay, that's what I wanted to get used to that, please.
yes, sir.
If I'm going to examine, I want to keep asking you that.
Yes,
Because
sir.
this is a crucial part of it.
Yes, sir.
What is the symptoms and signs?
Yes. Points in favor of sacrococcygeal teratoma is that It is a swelling which is present since birth and it is gradually progressing in size. With the history of, after the trauma, the child probably had a hematoma and there is no neurological deficits. So, which is, on clinical examination, the consistency is variegated consistency. So, it's probably more likely to be a sacrococcygeal teratoma.
What is the point against? What is the point against it?
Point against it is on parental examination, the coccyx is it's free. It's not. We can only feel the.
This doesn't seem to be involved. Okay, for
doesn't
example,
seem to
in
be-
this
yes, sir.
here, with the finger inside, you can feel the coccyx from outside also, like a bidigital palpation.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so this says coccyx is what is this is the only point against it. Okay,
Yes.
next. Meningocele, points for, against, and probability.
Points for meningomyocele is the swelling which is present since birth and the location is in the say lumbosacral sacrococcygeal region.
Okay, points for, point
Yeah,
against.
the point against it is there is no neurological deficits and the consistency is variegated and yeah, that's all.
Since we get no neurological deficit, there's an ulceration, possibly what do you call meningomyelocele, but it's unlikely. Okay,
Yes.
for a hematoma.
Yes.
So what are the other possibilities? You said neurofibroma. What are
Has neurofibroma, ganglioneuroma, neurological tumors, which is it's a tumor which is present since birth and it is gradually increasing in size. So these are the points for favoring ganglioneuroma. But against it is the consistency is variegated and skin is necrotic.
okay?
Yes, these are against and lymphovascular malformation. Again, it's present since birth, and it's also growing in size. But it is not. It is consistency-wise, it is variegated and not completely cystic or not compressible. The swelling is not compressible.
Not compressible to any area.
Any
Because,
area.
for example, a lymphovascular malformation with a hematoma,
Yes,
please
sir.
understand it's a loculated and multi-loculated swelling. So
Yes.
hematoma is not going to occupy the entire thing. So
Yes.
hematoma may be a pocket, but maybe the other places where there is no hematoma, it may still be compressible. It is not there.
Yes.
And there are no sentinel lesions. Okay.
Yes.
Because many times it happens, all these things may have a sentinel, a small hemangioma elsewhere also.
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't have. Done. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Further investigations, I would like to get an ultrasound of the lesion, sir.
I think
Okay.
Ramesh, Meenakshi wanted to say something. I don't know.
Please, Meenakshi. Meenakshi? Yeah, she's unmuted herself. Please go ahead. Meenakshi, want to say something?
No, it may just be that her mic is on. That's all. I thought she wanted to say something.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, Vinay.
Sir, I would like to further work up the child. We'll do get a ultrasound scan done to look for uh, the type of swelling, whether it is cystic or solid areas are also there, and the extent of the lesion, deeper extent of the lesion, and to look for any spinal communication if it is there. But it's a 4-year-old child. We might not be able to say any spinal defects. We'll be able to see if we can, if at all, sir. And any.
Vinay,
Sir?
Vinay,
Yes, sir.
don't be so hesitant and sort of negatively speaking. Then you are contradicting yourself. I'll get an ultrasound to look for communication, but it may not be found out. Don't say that. I will get an ultrasound to assess the size, the location, the consistency, the extent of the tumor. Finished.
Yes, sir.
Of the mass.
Yes.
So finished. Then you say, do you want to know intrasmal extensions? Are difficult in this case. Fine.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
So, be confident and fluent and close. Point is, all of you, for the exam going fellows, please understand your basic reason for hesitancy is you think you don't know something. Okay, you're trying to focus on that. Subconsciously, that is the one which is going to manifest as hesitancy, and you will blurt out what you think you don't know. You're providing a fodder for the examiner. Don't do that. Focus on what you know. Please understand in this exam situation, you know about the case better than even the examiner. You have spent more time with the child than the examiner. Okay, you know it better. You be confident. You be clear. You articulate your thoughts very clearly. Leave it. Understand? Don't harp on the negatives too early. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you got an ultrasound done. So anybody tells the ultrasound report?
I just have it. 1 minute.
Generally, ask somebody else to be the expert assistant, as the current your next batch to take over and be ready to present the ultrasound, X-ray, CT, whatever is done. Okay.
Yes. Ultrasound showed a well-defined mass measuring about 10 into 10 centimeters in the sacral region. It appears solid and cystic in appearance and shows multiple septations and solid areas which are avascular. Profuse subcutaneous edema seen, and there is suspicious involvement of the underlying and adjacent muscle plane also. So, query sacrococcygeal teratoma with superimposed hematoma is the USG finding, sir.
Okay. Has this given you all the information that you want? Is there any other information in the imaging that you want?
The spinal involvement is not mentioned, sir, in this, and the deeper extent and abdominal extent, like how much is extending into the abdomen, is also not mentioned.
Technically, you said this mass stops well above the
Yes, sir,
coccyx outside.
that's true.
Medical examination shows nothing.
Yes.
You don't expect the mass to traverse the spine and come anterior, presacral. So unlikely that this has got any presacral extensions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Spinal involvement, I don't understand, because you say that there's a 10 into 10 centimeter in the sacral area. Okay.
Yes.
Why do you expect a spinal involvement at all?
With the differential diagnosis of MMC, we need to rule out, sir.
Apart from that, any other reason? Okay, go ahead.
Yes. That's the main reason.
Okay, so what next? So now that you got a saying that it is sort of solid cystic mass with hematoma 10 into 10 centimeter in the sacral area.
Yes.
So now are you able to further cone down your diagnosis?
Yes, sir. It is probably a sacrococcygeal teratoma. Like meningomyelocele might be ruled out, sir.
Meningomyelocele is unlikely. One
Unlikely.
is still, can it still be a neurogenic tumor that you're talking
Yes,
about?
sir. Yes, it can still be a neurogenic tumor.
Can still be a neurogenic tumor, possible. But because again you say cystic, as we told, this location neurofiber, neuroganglioma, ganglioneuroma are unlikely. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But you think it can be some sort of tumor, most likely sacrococcygeal teratoma. What next do you want to do?
I would like to do the tumor markers, sir.
What tumor?
Like AFP beta HCG and LDH.
Okay.
If it is an immature teratoma, then AFP likely may be raised, sir.
I'm just asking, has it been done? What are the report values?
It is 1 month. It is normal, sir, except for LDH, which is 335.
So significant is about LDH.
Yes, sir.
He has a tumor.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Only LDH is raised, sir.
Understand how sensitive or specific is LDH as a tumor marker?
It is not specific, sir. It only tells us the tumor burden. Only we can say after resection, if it has come down, so it helps us in telling that.
Okay. It's a basically non-specific tumor marker,
Yes,
whereas AFP and HEG would have been more clear. AFP, beta, HEG, both of them are normal.
yes.
So what does it tell you and what do you do next?
Sir, I'd like to get because we still have this differential diagnosis of ganglioneuroma or neuroblastoma. So we'll need to get a MRI or CT scan, sir. We got a MRI done, sir.
No, basically at this level, when you discuss, no, you say
Yes.
this is possible to CT,
Yes.
more likely from medical diagnosis and ultrasound. Okay, no, go back. Okay, at this side you said ultrasound suggested some sort of sacrococcygeal mass,
Yes.
possibly some other in the same area, masquerading as an SCT. Fine.
Yes.
And you got it for markers of which you got only LDH which is raised, indicating that it possibly could be a tumor, but rest of the tumor markers are negative. So
Yes.
what next? So what happens in your differential diagnosis now?
Now, here we have one is we have sort of ruled out meningomyelocele. Then we have ruled out lymphovascular malformation also. Now we would like to think of sacrococcygeal teratoma and neurogenic tumors, sir.
Once again, let us go ahead with now. So I said sacrococcygeal teratoma is unlikely because AFP is normal, beta HCG is normal. So
Yes.
teratomatous is unlikely, and this is present since birth.
Yes.
Okay. So teratoma can sacrococcygeal teratoma present with a normal AFP and beta HCG?
Yes, sir. A mature teratoma can have a normal AFP, sir.
Okay. So it can still be a CT with
Yes, sir.
mature elements.
Yes.
Great. One possibility. Then what else? Is it likely to be ganglioneuroma, neuroblastoma?
Possibly, sir.
Theoretic, but embryologically not possible. I told you.
Yes.
It is unlikely. Okay, this is the place where you are not likely to get it. So
Yes.
what else next? That's what I am to explain. Because ganglioneuroma, neuroblastoma has to be arising from neural elements.
Yes.
There are no neural elements to get. Basically, it's autonomic neural elements. It's not the somatic neural elements.
Yes,
So
sir.
you're not likely to get neuroma, neuroblastoma at this level.
Yes, sir.
So what are the other possibilities that we think of now? Understand what I'm saying,
Yes.
Vinay?
Yes, sir.
See,
Yes, sir.
what to ask, I'm looking at your analytical capability.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want you to have an umbrella diagnosis. Patient आके चलो उसको अल्ट्रासाउंड सीटी स्कैन एमआरआई कर लो या सब ट्यूमर मार्कर्स कर लो. You'll get
Yes.
something. No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to think at each level. Okay, I thought of 5 differential diagnosis. After ultrasound, I coded it to 2. Then
Yes.
after tumor markers, I'm coding it to 2. After
Yes.
this, it is fitting into 2, or am I going to add a new diagnosis? Understand? That's the thinking process I want all of you to develop.
Yes.
Because frankly speaking, that's how we think. It's not something unusual, I'm telling you.
Yes.
Right? Now, with a mass there
Yes.
in the sacral area, without involvement of sacrum, without presacral extension, purely extra or posterior to the coccyx, post-sacral mass. Okay, you
Yes.
found it, variegated consistency present since birth, and
Yes.
now your tumor markers are by and large negative, and the specific tumor markers are negative, LDHS high. So
Yes.
what will you think of? You don't need to stick to this. So now
Yes.
I will consider possibilities.
Yes, sir. Other possibilities like a rhabdomyosarcoma, we may consider, sir. And,
RMS is unlike
yes.
RMS can't be there for 4 years like this.
Yes, sir.
Course. That's what Vinu was trying to tell.
Yes.
So what else? Anybody else? This is the place you have to say, sir, since there is a mass which is not classically fitting to SCT,
Yeah.
doesn't fitting in RMS or the thing, I would like to consider unusual tumors at this stage.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it is not fitting into anything clearly. So I
Yes.
will think of unusual. That's the way I would have been happier if you had told. Okay,
Yes, sir.
my thinking would have been. So this possibly is an unusual tumor,
Yes.
uncommon tumor.
Yes.
Okay, now we are open to a new possibility. Then either the examiner may say go on, or he may say okay till the unusual things that you see. Now you've got a liberty of saying what you want. Ram sir, sorry, Ramchandra sir?
Yeah, no, you're fine. I'm following your that discussion. It's fine.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, Vinay, go ahead. So now what I'm suggesting is see from your differential diagnosis, ganglioneuroma is unlikely, dermatitis unlikely, lymphomascular malformation is unlikely, rhabdomyosarcoma unlikely, SCT possible but less likely now. Now
Yes.
you're going to add, that's all. Unusual tumors can be there. What are the unusual tumors that you can think of here?
I'm not sure.
Okay, like what sir said, myofibroblastic
Yes,
tumors,
sir.
benign tumor, Okay.
Yes.
Infantile fibrosarcoma,
Yes.
infantile neurofibroma,
Ah.
von Reckling-Hausen's disease, type 1.
Yes. Neurofibroma.
So what are the other criteria you have to satisfy when you want to get von Reckling-Hausen's disease, type 1?
Yes.
Neurofibroma type 1.
Yes. Axillary freckling and
Yeah.
iris nodules.
Yeah.
Yes. And
All MCQ questions.
yes,
Neat
plexiform
questions.
neurofibroma.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. 6 criteria.
You forgot the main important one. Cafe au lait,
Capiella spots.
coffee on milk spots.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hmm. Okay. There are
And
criteria
family
for that
history.
in children and in adults.
Yes, sir.
So,
Okay.
okay. So you think of all rare tumors possibly here. Okay, next. So this is a stage where things are confusing. I would rather have more investigation. What would you like to do? I would like to do further imaging.
Yes.
Would you prefer a scan or MRI? They have done MRI, leave it. Would you have
Yes.
preferred a CT scan or MRI?
Sir, I would prefer MRI because considering rare tumors, all mesenchymal tumors are those not involving the bone, so it is better to go for a MRI, sir.
Good. Apart from that, anything else? In other words, what I'm saying is, what are the advantages of CT scan and disadvantages of a CT scan? What are the advantages, disadvantages of MRI?
Uh, CT scan
Hello?
because
That will go ahead.
yes, CT scan. If we were considering a bony tumor, then we would rather go for a CT scan, sir. But since we feel it is not a bony tumor, and with the consideration of neurological tumors also, we'd rather prefer a MRI because it gives a better
Correct.
tissue delineation, sir.
CT scan can delineate the bony lesions much better.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you are thinking of a soft tissue mass, I would rather have this. It can also tell you better about the spinal cord, presacral extension, okay, and less radiation. Plus, what is the biggest advantage of MRI as compared to CT scan? Apart from no radiation.
Better spatial delineation, sir.
Apart from that, you can have multiplanar imaging.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes.
Compare CT scan will give only coronal sections. All the reconstruction they give is a computerized reconstruction. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Right section is not done sagittal section is not done oblique. Whereas in an MRI, you can get multiplanar imaging by which your tissue delineation extent can be better appreciated. Okay. So you got a MRI. Put up an MRI and read it, please.
So, it's a sagittal section of the MRI. It's showing a solitary lesion in the sacrococcygeal area with a well-defined borders. The superior margin is just above the coccyx level at about S3 level. It begins at S3 level, and then inferiorly it is going up to the posterior wall of the anal margin, and it is compressing the rectum. It is like causing an impression of the rectum, but not compressing. And
You can call it as indent wall.
yes, indentation of the rectum, but there is no extent. There is no deeper extent of the tumor. Tumor
Most
is,
important.
sir?
Most important. I understand. So there is no presacral extension. Agreed. Mass is fairly well delineated.
Yes.
Agreed.
And then
And
it is
important.
cystic in consistency.
Okay.
At most areas.
Okay.
Mm.
Important point you have
There is
missed
no
out.
final communication.
One, no intraspinal communication. Apart from that, what is the first differential diagnosis so far?
Sacrococcygeal teratoma. Like
Okay,
it is just above the. I mean, it is posterior to and also going above the coccyx.
so is it involving the coccyx or not?
Unlikely to say, sir. It is just adherent to the
It
coccyx.
looks like it is separate from the coccyx. It is close to coccyx, but is not
Yes.
involving the coccyx. Agreed.
Yes.
What does the report say? Report says about the involvement of coccyx.
No, sir. Says whatever the ultrasound has said that's what it is saying.
Okay. You're a little wiser, but not very wiser after this. So what do you say? So now we got a tumor which you don't know whether it's SCT, likely to be SCT, but
Yes.
unlikely to be SCT. Okay. So you're in a very difficult pick one situation. So what would you like to do next?
I'd like to get a histological diagnosis by doing a true cut biopsy, sir.
Would you like an FNAC or a true cut or an open biopsy?
Sir, in this case, because it is mostly cystic, so FNAC would is unlikely to give a proper diagnosis, sir. But on ultrasound guided, if we do a true cut biopsy from the solid areas, we may have a better tissue diagnosis, sir, along with IHC.
Why some guidance in this case? This is such a large mass.
Yes, sir. One is it is a tumor of variegated consistency, mostly cystic. So we would like to take biopsy from the solid area, sir.
Anything else which is confounding in this case?
And mostly whatever is superficially seen is the skin is necrotic, and we would rather.
Okay. Agreed? Apart from that, because of spot, there's a hematoma.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't want to do it, and they give the biopsy and they give the diagnosis microcytic hypochromic anemia. Okay. So it's better that you have an ultrasound guidance to see for a solid mass and either what is the problem if I hit a solid mass? I would rather do an FNAC ultrasound guided. Will it be useful?
We might not get the entire element, sir. If we aspirate the right this one, then maybe it might. But it is difficult, sir.
No more than okay. I am an expert. I will do it. Would you prefer an FNAC or a true cut or an open biopsy? What are the pros and cons of each one of them? What will you choose in this case?
I'll still choose a true cut biopsy, sir, because it gives a proper tissue element, tissue orientation. I mean, tissue. It gives us the proper tissue, sir.
Okay. Can you
FNAC
elaborate
is- sir?
advantage, see, limitation of FNAC, application of FNAC where you will choose, and the same for true cut and an open biopsy. Then discuss what will you choose in this case.
Yes. FNAC, the advantages, it is a it is just a needle which is there we use, and it does not cause any uh,
It's a least invasive.
less invasive techniques.
Yes. May not require anesthesia.
Yes.
These are the advantages. What are the
Yes.
disadvantages of FNAC?
It is just a cytology specimen, so it might not give us the entire. I mean, it's a less number of cells are seen.
Most important, FNAC is a cytology. It is
Yes.
sampling cells. It is not giving histopathology. Clear?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Talk about cells. Okay.
Yes.
So the diagnostic limitations are much less. One.
Yes.
Still, we prefer to do FNAC in sites where true cut biopsy is not easy, feasible, or safe. In this case, none of them. It is easily accessible. True cut is very easily possible, or an open biopsy is also possible. So between the two, I will choose what will give me better yield. Okay. So
Yes.
would you like a true cut biopsy or would you like a open biopsy?
Sir, I would go for a true cut biopsy, ultrasound guided. Open biopsy again, if it is deep seated, it might be difficult to reach the area, sir. And mostly the outer part is cystic in consistency.
You've done ultrasound, you've done a CT.
Yes.
Okay. You know it.
Yes.
So don't underestimate. So which is the situation where you will choose an open biopsy or a true cut biopsy? I agree with you. In this case, I would also do a true cut biopsy
Yes.
rather than a because it's easy outside. It will give you much better about the tissues than just about the cells, and it will give me a much better roadmap. So I would be happy. It also gives me enough tissue for doing immunohistopathology. So I will be more than happy to do a true cut. But are there any cases where an open biopsy would be preferred as compared to true cut? Anybody can answer this question. It depends on the facilities that you have and the place that you practice.
Yes.
In an institute where we have got all facilities, and you got Kidwai next door, we have no problem doing true cut and getting a biopsy. But if you're doing in a small town where your histopathology is not very reliable, you don't have adequate what do you call histochemistry, immunohistochemistry, and all, it is better to give a big chunk. This is a place where the mass is so easily outside, okay, and sending a good piece of biopsy for a conventional histopathology, if necessary for a second opinion, is easy, provided your histopathology department is not or histopathology backup is not good enough. All right.
Yes.
Otherwise, in conventional, do true cut. What is the true cut biopsy report in this case?
So in this case, it's a neoplasm composed of short spindle cells, loose eosinophilic fibrillary background, and a foci of necrosis and inflammatory cell infiltrate. They did IHC, and after IHC, it is reported as schwannoma, so possibly a schwannoma.
Okay, stop it here. Now I'll go back to the question earlier. You are doing a true cut biopsy. Okay, this
Yes.
mass from whatever, just a hypothetical question. Okay,
Yes.
this mass so far is sort of seen to be a mass which is confined to only subcutaneous plane outside the spine. No intraspinal extension, no spine extension anteriorly. Okay,
Yes.
no involvement of the coccyx. So instead of a true cut biopsy, can I do an excision biopsy?
But because excision biopsy means excision of the tumor cell, so we would rather have a proper tissue diagnosis first, and then we would then plan.
Is-
Sir?
Is your management going to change? What are the
Yes, sir.
possibilities of tumor? Is your management going to change by the histopathology?
Yes, sir. If it is a tumor which for which we can give a neoadjuvant chemotherapy, we could downsize that some tumor and then plan for a smaller resection, which would give a better
In,
cosmetic appearance.
in this tumor, we don't know what should be our surgical principles, whether it should be enucleation or just an excision or a wide local excision. And that depends on what is the morphology and its clinical behavior and even future recurrence rates. So I feel it's better to have histopathology before we go.
Okay. So if it is a small mass by which you don't know about it, then you can go ahead. Whereas this case, where even though it is well loculated, one, the mass is big. Number two, you don't know the tumor behavior. Even though neoadjuvant chemotherapy may not be feasible in any of the things that you talked about, because it's a resectable mass. Okay. I don't see the necessity for neoadjuvant, but like what Vinu said, one, you need to know whether it's a wide local excision or just enucleation. One, you need to know about the prognosis. Number three, you need to know about possibility of even post-operative chemotherapy requirement or not. So I would definitely have a biopsy before proceeding. Okay. Now that you did it and the biopsy saying schwannoma, tell us more about the management.
Schwannoma, it's more of a benign pathology.
So what
Sir.
will be your plan of management?
Plan for a wide local excision.
Wide local. Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Is it wide local excision? You said it's a benign one. So would you like to do enucleation or wide local excision?
Sir,
Would you like to do enucleation or wide local excision? The difference between the two.
wide local excision, we would prefer a wide local excision, sir. One is schwannoma is it's not sure in this, sir. Probably a schwannoma. Sacrocoaxial teratoma is still not ruled out. Hello, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
In my opinion, excision of the tumor means completely excised with all its capsule and coming out is fine. It's enucleation, basically sticking to the wall. If you say wide local excision, it means you're going to take out normal tissues also by the side. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So wide local excision is a much more radical procedure. Would you like to do a much more radical procedure or a conservative excision of just a mass which is there?
You would.
Ram sir, would you like to?
No, I want to find out who is sitting next to Vinay so that they can just sort of pinch him in his buttocks or hold his ear and box his ear properly, so that he can think in a proper way. He's talking like what the joke says now. ಏನ್ ಬ್ರೋ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಯ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಬಾಲ ಮಾತ್ರ ಉಳಿದಿದೆ ಅಂತ, ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. All the pupils, students nested and coming out instead of listening to the teacher. So that is the analogy you can give. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಯ್ತೇನ್ರೋ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಫುಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಬಾಲ ಮಾತ್ರ ಉಳಿದಿದೆ ಅಂತ, ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. So who is sitting next to Vinay? Please give him a real one chart on his this thing.
I'm at home, sir.
Huh?
I'm at home, sir.
Oh, then you will get a bigger Jordan.
Tom. Oh, okay.
Basically, what we try-
ಭಾರ್ಯೆ. It struck me just now. ಭಾರ್ಯೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಭಾರ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ಕರೆದು ಅವಳಿಗೆ
ಭಾರ್ಯ ಮನೇಲಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. Hello.
Okay.
So we can plan excision with coccygectomy because even in HB
is pointing out, none of us are very, very prophetic in our thinking and all that. Basically, we have just more years of experience. That's all. So what you can do is you can safely excise this tumor without causing any further risk to the child. And maybe you can excise the coccyx also for the sake of completion, just to make sure that you have included the concept of sacrococcygeal teratoma. And then you wait for the final pathology, and then you decide whether a further wide local excision is required or not, based on your cancer principle.
Yes.
So right now you do a safe excision for this tumor, and not enucleation as we were discussing. You want to do a proper excision so that all the tumor can be taken out safely, safely for this child, without causing any morbidity to the child. Because as you are telling, it is a benign tumor, and you remove the coccyx because it is just lying there, and you complete the coccygectomy to complete the concept of removing the coccyx in case it is a sacrococcygeal teratoma, in which case you don't need to go in again and do a coccygectomy if it comes out as a sacrococcygeal teratoma.
Yes.
Okay, that is my thinking.
Yes.
I agree. So basically, you are looking for excision of the mass with coccyx excision for completion's sake. Wait for biopsy. You are not going to go ahead for a wide local excision. If you're doing a wide local excision, especially in this mass, that means you're going to have at least half to 1 centimeter of normal tissues all around. It is impossible in this area. Okay.
Yes.
So, and it is too radical. So you don't do it. You do excision and wait. What are the surgical challenges that you expect in this case? Don't worry about what you saw yesterday. Please keep that out in mind. Tell me, what are the surgical challenges that you expect in this case? With the pictures that you have shown.
So one is the skin is necrotic in that, so we might be able to excise the tissue, but we might not get a proper coverage, sir. So we might need
may not get proper
coverage, skin coverage.
See, this tumor has given you a tissue expander facility, man. It has already expanded the tissue. I don't know what you are talking. Vinay, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಭಾರ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ಕರೆದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡುವ ಅವಸ್ಥೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ.
What sort of incision will you take in this case?
An elliptical incision, vertically elliptical incision covering the necrotic area, just lateral to the necrotic area, sir.
Conversely, for a sacrococcygeal teratoma, what sort of incision?
Chevron incision. Chevron incision.
Okay. Why don't you take a chevron incision in this case?
So chevron incision involves the maximum portion of the tissue. This one, sir. This is a big tumor. So if he gives that incision, we might not be able to. I thought we will not be able to get the coverage, skin coverage, sir.
Sure. In fact, I thought by putting that Y extension, inverted Y extension, in fact, you got more chances for coverage because you can raise flaps and come out much easily. Any extension, for example, when you do an abdominal tumor, when you give a T extension, you get better less exposure.
Yes.
In fact, between elliptical incision that you're talking about and an inverted Y or a chevron incision, which one will give better exposure? Exercise
Chevron
the mass.
incision will give gravity.
Obviously,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
it's got extension. You're going to have 3 flaps raised.
Yes, sir.
And in case you can plan the vertical portion as a chevron, okay, to
Yes.
include the elliptical incision that you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what incision?
You would give a chevron incision, sir.
Why do you put a chevron incision in case of sacrocoaxial teratoma?
So the skin on this lesion is not that good for us to put an incision.
Agreed. I would agree that you have to excise that necrotic skin or that scab-like skin, which is bad. Okay, you got to take that skin. Apart from that elliptical, you put a chevron extension if needed. If you can remove the whole tumor, you can. My question now is, why do you put a chevron incision in case of sacrocoaxial teratoma? What is the
Sir,
most important part when you're
anal
doing the
sphincter.
suturing?
Sorry, sir. Can you just repeat?
In this case, as well as in SCT, what is one crucial step that you're doing when you after the excision of the tumor?
Rectum and
The anal
sphincter.
position.
Anal.
Anal will get pulled posteriorly.
What do you do? What happens? Because you do coccygectomy, basically the insertion of the levator ani is not taken. So basically you have to reconstruct it. You have to take the bite of the levator ani and fix it to the last piece of sacrum. Okay. If you don't do that, in fact, there will be a little saggy appearance. In this case, it's okay. A large sacrocoaxial teratoma, you'll see that actually the cosmetically it will be bad because it will be sagging down. Okay. You're going to reconstruct the levator ani and then you're going to reconstruct you're going to close it. Okay. So in this case, there may be a problem of skin loss, but by what Ramchandra sir was saying, since the mass is already there for a long time, it is a lot of tissue expanded, and so that you get adequate amount of skin flaps. If necessary, you can raise flaps and close it. It should not be a problem.
Yes.
Ram sir, anything else?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Now after this, the biopsy says it's a sacrocoaxial teratoma.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What would be your management?
Sir, if a completely resected sacrocoaxial teratoma, we would follow up the child, sir. And one is we'll do a
Don't you
metastatic
about the
workup.
biopsy?
Sir?
What don't you want to know more about the biopsy to decide your future course of action? In
We know
SCT, what is a critical factor in the biopsy that you would look for?
the mature and the immature elements. Yes, sir.
You're going to look for the degree of immaturity of the tumor.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
What is most crucial when you're doing a biopsy of a sacrocoaxial teratoma? How many sections do they need to take?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay, they're supposed to take multiple sections because you're looking for the
Yes, sir. Yes.
amount of immaturity.
Yes.
Ideally, within every square centimeter, they should take a section.
Yes.
That means if this is large tumor, they should take an enormous number of sections before they say the degree of immaturity.
Immaturity.
Based on which we decide whether the child requires chemotherapy or not.
Yes, sir.
Now, if this is in a case of normal case of sacrocoaxial teratoma, how will you follow up the case?
Follow up with an ultrasound. One is we'll have to do a metastatic workup by doing a chest X-ray and a CT scan, sir, of the chest. And if it is, then we'll have to stage the disease. If it is stage 1, then we would just follow up the child with an ultrasound and we'll with an ultrasound scan, sir. Every 3 monthly for 2 years, and then followed by that. Sir?
Vinay, where is your wife?
She's
She's not in town.
Not in town.
Dharwad. Okay, your mother is there?
Yes, sir.
Ask him to come with a balloon and hit you on your head. So you are innovating too much of problem. For example, I simply asked a question, if it is a sacrocoaxial teratoma,
Yes.
how will you follow up? Sir, I'm going to do a chest
Workup,
X-ray,
metastatic.
I'm going to do a CT scan, I'm going to do this. In this case, already worked up, taken up. Okay, or even a standard case, are you going to do CT scan and everything for every case. How are you going to manage? Simple. Don't invite more questions. You're inviting, mujhe mail, bail mujhe maar. Okay, you're asking me.
Yes.
Okay. Now the potential question is, what is the role of CT scan in a sacrocoaxial teratoma? Do you do it in all cases? What is a constant metastatic workup? Will you do a PET scan or no PET scan? Will you do tumor markers? Yes, no. Chest X-ray, utility of chest X-ray. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Sir.
You opened a can of worms for 100 questions for me to pounce on you.
Yes.
Don't. How will you follow up a case of sacrocoaxial teratoma? Sir, I will keep them on a follow-up. Look at local examination. If necessary, I will image and I will do tumor markers.
Yes.
How simple this is and how difficult it is of what you said.
Yes, sir.
Understand?
Yes.
That's all I wanted. So you will, when a patient, in case this turns out to be sacrocoaxial teratoma, okay, in follow-up, what will you do?
We'll look at the surgical wound, sir. We'll see how the wound is with clinical examination, and then we'll do an ultrasound of the lesion of the surgical site, and then we'll do a tumor marker, sir, to see
What tumor marker?
AFP and LDH, sir.
In this case, AFP will be normal.
Sir.
Pre-op also AFP. That's exactly where I was expecting to fall and he fell down. So normally I would have done AFP and LDH, but in this case, normally I would have done only AFP, but in this case, since the preoperative AFP is normal, it is of no
Degree to
use.
be
So
normal.
it's more about local examination that you're going to see. Maybe LDH is a non-specific marker. I don't think that is going to be much useful, but still it may be done. But it's a more reliance on the clinical examination and imaging on ultrasound or CT if needed. Understand?
Yes.
If needed. So normally when you do a patient of a sacrocoaxial teratoma, when do you expect the AFP to become normal?
The AFP, the half-life is 9 days, sir. So it will take 9 days for it to become normal.
It will come down in one half-life. How many half-lives you have to wait for it to come down to normal size? What is the concept of half-life?
5 half-lives.
What is the concept of half-life?
Half-life is the time taken for the for the tumor marker to come down by half, sir. So every time it comes down by half. So for it to become completely normal, it takes about 5 half-lives, sir.
5 half-lives. What is the half-life of AFP? You said 9 days, but I think it is 5 days. I don't think it is 9 days. Can somebody correct me?
5 to 7 days.
5 to 7 days. So when you say 5 half-lives, how long do you have to wait before you do an AFP?
25 to 30 days.
Okay. So I thought it is about 5 days. Just confirm it again, cross check what is half-life, but I think it is 5 days. So normally wait for about 25 days to 1 month. 1 month before you do repeat AFP levels.
Yes.
All right. We talked about this thing. If in case it is something else, what are the others? For example, you said, could it still be in fibrosarcoma, infantile fibrosarcomas?
Probably.
Probably. In case it's schwannoma, what do you do?
Schwannoma, we would just follow up the child with the. We'll see. One is we'll review the histopathology, this one report, sir, and then we'll follow up the child with see the surgical wound, and then we'll do an ultrasound, sir. Repeat ultrasound.
Okay. Ranchit, anything else you want to tell?
No. I think adequately we have discussed.
Only thing is, Vinay, frankly, because you have been otherwise fairly well articulated, if we speak well, we expected a little more. Like what sir was saying, you got stuck by your prejudiced notions. Okay.
Yes.
So next time onwards, come, have a yoga, whatever, have breakfast, be comfortable, peaceful at mind. Once you give a case, please take out all prejudice, examine the case fresh, think of all possibilities and discuss.
Yes.
And discuss.
Yes.
Okay. Don't jump the gun. Next time onwards, we'll do that. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm presenting the paper now. It's okay. So
Yes,
far,
sir.
how has the papers been?
Sir, second paper was very boring, sir.
Second paper is good. I thought first paper was also very good.
Sir, second paper was very boring.
Very?
Boring.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. Second paper
Boring.
was very
Boring.
boring.
Paper was very boring.
Okay.
The
So-
entire ARM was covered in 3 questions, and entire Hutchins was covered in 1 question. And we had medical questions also nicely. Hyperbilirubinemia.
Okay. No, it's okay. I am not modifying it.
Yes, sir.
As I told, it's from all India level. It's from actual examiners. Okay, this time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's from actual examiners. It's only to prepare you. I'm getting today's paper is also from one of the excellent examiners who can be an examiner to you. So
Sure.
we don't know. Okay. So today's paper also will be sending. What
Sure,
you told Soumya is very clear. What we are going to do is all the papers that you have submitted, please submit to Soumya. We are going to blind it. That is, she is going to blind it. Even I will not know whose paper it is. We are going to scan them and I'll send it to the person who, the examiner who sent the question paper. Along
Sure.
with like last time, apart from valuation, we are going to ask them to give a feedback. And once it will be decoded, it will be handed to you directly. Marks will not be announced. Am I
But
clear?
we have already written our names on the first page. So hereafter, should we not
She is going
write?
to code it. She is going to code it. She is going to cover it.
Okay, okay. Thanks. Okay.
I am not doing it.
Okay.
As Soumya to do it, she is going to cover it. She is going to give a random number to each one of you.
Okay.
So coding is going to be done. So from henceforth, what I suggest to all of you is first page you write, and the back of the first page don't write any answer. Okay.
Okay.
Just like in Excel, we'll fold it, pin it, and she will give a fresh number.
Okay. Fine, sir.
Am I clear?
Okay,
So we're
sir.
going to scan the entire thing and we'll be sending it to the examiner who will one, mark it. Number two, give a feedback about each of the questions, just like what we said did last time, and it will be given back to you. Am I
Okay.
clear?
Okay, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir.
And please ask the second years also to do the same. If first years want to give the papers, they can, otherwise they can retain it themselves.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So don't worry, this is how the exams will be, because as I told, if you ask me, I'm going to first paper is set by Kanishka. It is really well. It really defined each one of them perfectly well. What he is expecting at each level. Okay. But we don't get such sort of question papers all the time. So that's the reason for which I'm mixing and matching every time. All right.
Okay. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. We'll meet again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we'll end the meeting.